What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Seek Outside podcast. Today is Wednesday, June 4th, and thank you guys for joining us today. We have Drew Miles from Tricer Tripods. He's going to be our guest today. We're going to run through the DST tarp giveaway first. We're going to do some weekend recap stuff, go over some new gear that we've been using, and then hit happy hour. At this point, that's kind of the typical curriculum of the show.
Yes, sir.
But you guys stick around. We're going to get into all that stuff. Enjoy the Seek Outside podcast.
Welcome to the Seek Outside podcast.
And then you think that's bad? You see Ryan on the phone in the office.
Some people are just wired that way.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Seek Outside podcast. Ryan Spina here with Owen Tim.
Yo.
Hope you guys are having a great week so far. It's freaking summertime.
Yeah.
We just hit 95 over the weekend for the first time here in Junction.
Brutal.
Yeah, and
I was luckily gone for that. So
yeah, you were in the South, a much cooler
yeah, it's
place.
much cooler place. Yeah, I guess that's a great point.
It is funny because the temperatures were much more mild than the South, right?
Yeah, it was like 85.
Yeah,
but I mean humid, so
yeah,
just
probably,
as bad.
Probably similar.
Yeah, just as bad.
Yeah, but anyway, thank you guys for joining us. We're gonna get the podcast rolling by giving away our DST tarp here. So for anybody that might be tuning in for the first time, we have a YouTube channel, Seek Outside YouTube channel. First off, we have lots of great instructional videos, expedition videos. You can see this guy going down to New Zealand, killing a baby little stag.
Whoa! Whoa!
You can see me forgetting my car keys after we did a big pack rafting trip.
Yeah, that was awesome.
That's in there. So there's lots of cool stuff on that YouTube channel. But we have the podcast on YouTube. We have lots of cool, whenever we talk gear, we try to insert, whether it's footage from the field or, if it's a piece of gear specifically, we try to put some specs on there and stuff. So make sure you check it out. But for now, what we're doing, this DST tarp giveaway, is basically every podcast episode we are giving away a DST tarp until the first day of fall. That's mid-September, I think 21st or 23rd, whenever it is this year. That episode will be the last time we give away the DST. But basically how it works is you got to go comment on the YouTube video on the podcast episode and then subscribe to our YouTube channel. And every week, we go through with a random number generator and pick one of the commenters, and you win a DST tarp. And I got to say, before we get into this right here, I got to give a shout out to Grease Monkey for God. I'm on to you. I know what you're doing. It's a great tactic, and I hate to blow up your spot because I want more comments, but I see your strategy. Multiple comments layered throughout the comment section. It's an awesome strategy. We're going to see if it's going to work here. So anyway, this week we had, I think it was like 36 comments. So I'm going to throw up the random number generator here, and we're going to pick the winner of the DST tarp. If you win, I just want to give some more clarification. I'm going to say your YouTube channel, and you just send us an email at podcast or info@seekoutside.com, and we'll get you set up with the DST tarp. But you have to send us that email to get the DST tarp. So here we go. Without further ado, generate a number here. So we got 15. Let's see here. Oh my gosh. It was Grease Monkey for God here. He wins. See, strategy works with his comment, Outdoor Boys, I think what you were trying to say. Anyway, people, go check out his strategy. We want to get as many comments on these videos as we can, get them in the algorithm. So I encourage you to try what he did. But anyway, yeah, Grease Monkey for God. Hit us up, man. Podcast at seekoutside.com. We'll get you a DST tarp here. And I do want to say that, this refreshes every episode. We're not pulling comments from past ones. It has to be, you have to comment on that episode.
And you can only win once.
Yeah, only one.
Everybody
once.
gets an equal opportunity.
Yep, exactly. But cool, hit us up. That is the DST tarp. We're going to get into some weekend recap, gear stuff, and the interview later. So stay tuned. Mr. Owen Tim, back from the South.
Back from the South.
Southern man.
A Southern man. The amount of fried chicken I ate was ridiculous. I ate like probably 12 pounds of fried chicken.
Oh, all right, dude. So you know me and my kind of like my battle with fried chicken.
Yeah.
And especially Nashville hot chicken. So basically I had a spot in Athens, Georgia when I lived there called Scoville Chicken. If anybody's in the South, you have to go there. They only make one thing on the menu. It's a chicken sandwich, hot chicken sandwich, and it's unbelievable. But living here in Junction and just here in Colorado in general, I have not been able to find fried chicken that is as good. Yeah. What are your experiences from down there?
Down there?
Am I just like a biased person? And
I think you might be a little biased. Yeah. I found that chicken was good. Yeah, it was good. It was everywhere. Like you can just get fried chicken.
Yeah.
Behind the dumpster. Yeah. Some guy selling fried chicken.
Literally, I mean, some places it's like there'll just be a stand out front and they're selling fried chicken.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah, I ate a ton. There was one day I had 3 chicken sandwiches. One for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Dang, son.
I'm 2,000 pounds right now.
Well, that's why you're in the South. You sweat it out.
Yeah. It was good. I would say it's like 15% better.
Yeah.
But I didn't think it was like, I'm not going to be disappointed when I go get chicken here.
I got you. Yeah. So maybe I just need to reset my brain.
You might be biased.
Living in romance.
Maybe you need to go back.
Yeah.
We did drive through Nashville. I should have went and got some hot chicken. But it was like 3 a.m. So.
Yeah. Well, best Nashville hot chicken I've had was in Georgia.
Yeah. So. We did one thing when I was in Arkansas. We went to this one place, and I think their definition of spicy food in the South is a little bit different.
Yeah.
A little bit different. Because, man, I got this burger. I was like, yeah, it's going to be, spicy. It was so spicy that I puked later.
Yeah. Oh, no.
Dude, I couldn't. I was like, dying, bro.
That's brutal.
Just dying, man. And I was like, made it like 2 hours, and I was like, dude, it's tearing apart my stomach lining.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's when you know it's spicy when like 10, 15 minutes after you kind of feel that like
indigestion.
Thing. Yeah.
Very
but it's
bad.
like it's indigestion, but it's on a different level.
Spice.
It's like little extra there. But explain to people what you were doing down in the South.
Yeah, I was wedding. I went to Arkansas for a mountain bike event. Wow. Crazy. Yeah, big hills. Not really. But yeah, it's pretty impressive. It was Bentonville, Arkansas. It's pretty impressive what they can do with the elevation they have. Like, I think most the South is pretty flat, you know, except for like the Knoxville, North Carolina, Appalachia area.
Yeah.
So it was really impressive what they can do with the trails and the infrastructure there. I personally like the riding out here better, but pretty impressive. Like if you had to move there for work, right? Because that's the headquarters of Walmart. So everything is Walmart. It's a pretty nice town. People are friendly. And infrastructure is crazy. You go like to a trail system and there's a cafe in the middle. Like you can go get beers, but you have to ride there.
Yeah.
You can't drive there. Or you have to hike. Like it's kind of cool.
That's pretty sick.
Yeah. And it's really like all the spring water out there. Like the rivers are just clear, beautiful. Like beautiful in its own right.
Not necessarily a ton of runoff out there.
No. I do think they occasionally get, snow like once a year or something. But
yeah. Well, I mean, it's tough growing up in Uray, Colorado.
Yeah.
And then going to the hills down south.
It is, yes.
It's a different ball game.
I did go to the Smokies. I did rent a moto on an app called Rider Share. Pretty sick.
That's
kind of
cool.
like Toro for motorcycling.
Yeah.
So I rented a KLR, which is like just a tractor, old. They haven't changed it since the 90s. Like, it's the same bike. Rented a KLR and rode some stuff in the Smokies, and then rode the Dragon, which is this highway. I think it's Highway 129 or something, I think is what they call it. But
it's the Dragon?
The Dragon is what they call it. And the reason is there's one section, I want to say, I'm not 100% correct, but I think it's 380 turns in 11 miles.
Oh my gosh.
And so you're just ripping, man. It's, you go out there, you see Ferraris, Lambos, like really nice cars, basically on the North Carolina border. So we hopped over to North Carolina. And yeah, just epic, like sport bikes, dirt bikes, everything on that road. And it was sick.
Yeah. That's tight. So can you rent like dirt bikes on that app, or is it mostly just like...
Yeah. It's like anything really. Yeah. It's whatever's available. So it's like, if I wanted to put my bikes on there, somebody could come rent my bike. Okay. I was kind of thinking, I was like, man, that's a good way to be able to get another bike or two. Just have some, because the guy I got the KLR from, he had like 8 different bikes, and he was like, yeah, man, it's a good excuse to just have more bikes, so my wife can't be mad.
Rent them out.
I just rent them out. Yeah.
Pays for the car payment.
And yeah, I guess he gets, so that Dragon Road, like people come from all over. It's kind of a bucket list. And, there he gets like guys that come from Europe, rent bikes from him, go do like 6,000 miles in like 2 weeks. But he makes a lot of, he says, I don't pay for my bikes anymore, and I don't pay for oil changes or tires. I don't make money, but I don't pay for motorcycling, which is sick.
That's pretty sick.
Yeah.
He's got the system down.
I know. I pay for it.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm the sucker here.
Maybe.
But also.
But you learned something. Yeah. You learned a side hustle now.
Side hustle. Gonna start renting bikes.
Yeah, there you go.
You probably charge more out here too than you can charge out there.
Yeah. Can you get like ATVs and stuff on there?
No, just motos. Yeah, just dirt bikes. Dirt bikes and adventure bikes.
That's one that somebody's got to do though, is like a trailer and an ATV. Because like, we know some people that have ATVs and side-by-sides, and like my parents have one that we've used before. Yeah. But like, I've always wanted... Like, there's some weekends where you just can't get it, or you don't want to drive somewhere to pick it up, to borrow it. And you're just like, man, if there's one here in town where I could just rent a trailer and an ATV.
That's true. I do think there are some rentals, but it's like day rentals. You know? Like, if you could go pick up a trailer, that's a good point. Maybe you should start an app.
Maybe.
Go start, because if let's say you're going to New Mexico, you want an ATV hunt, but you don't have an ATV, or you don't want to drive it all the way down there. If you can rent one for a couple $100 a day. Yeah. Like that moto, I paid $113 after all the fees, insurance, all the stuff. It's like for a day. Yeah. All I had to do, my buddy luckily had a helmet, but you could fly anywhere in the U.S. that has one of those, that has one of those rider share apps, or there's people there with your helmet and your gear, and go ride whatever you want. So pretty sick.
Yeah, that is tight. And you got to hit the Dragon these nuts.
Dragging these nuts.
Got another intro to that joke there.
Dragging these
Found
nuts.
another one.
Yeah, I'm dragging these nuts.
Dragging these nuts around these turns. No, that's sick, man. Past weekend I did some camping.
Nice.
There's a spot here in town. Oh, anybody that hasn't looked, we do have a new backpack out. It's the Wetlands 10,000 cubic inch backpack. We did a full deep dive podcast on the podcast playlist here, but I did take that out, did some water sports, both up in the mountains and kind of down in the lowlands here. Took that, and
big water sports guy.
Yeah, man. Taking I really didn't use my packraft too much last year, so I'm trying to get a lot of use out of it this year.
I love that thing. Backraft stick.
Oh man, it's clutch.
It's just, I float the river here in town just shuttling with it, but also hike and backpack with it. I put it on a bike.
Mm-hmm. It's amazing. I will say I hadn't lubed the zipper since last year when I used it.
Crusty.
And I took it out without doing that. It was definitely crusty, so I had to lube that thing up. But
the zipper's a lot of maintenance, but it's worth it for those trips. Like,
it is, and I think if you just accept it as like part of, like, I don't know, like a clean my rifle every time after I take it out. You know, it gets like mud on it and what. It's kind of the same thing. You just it's a quick little rip. You don't have to really do too much, but yeah very essential. But yeah, I mean, I did want to say kind of the transition into the gear aspect. So, you know, camping, sleeping, when I'm doing it by myself, I usually have a good system. I have a little Cabela's cot. Yeah. Throw my Nemo Flyer sleeping pad on top there. It's a really good system. I have a few different. I have a big Agnes bag. I have a Nunatak bag, and I have a Sitka bag. Depending on temperature, I'll take one of those out. Good system. Now, when I go out with my wife, it's a different ball game. She's a little bit more bougie than me. She likes to have the floor down, but you know, sleeping on the ground is not an option. Yeah. Air mattresses, we all know those things suck, and especially up in the mountains, it gets cold at night.
And they
sink.
Deflate, dude.
The air gets cold in there. I think it's like the worst. I don't know. Never taking an air mattress sleeping ever again, camping. But I did find out a system. So last year, my brother got me for my birthday. It's a double sleeping bag. Yeah. And it's a 20-degree bag. It was made by Teton, which I think is like they just sell them at like Walmart. It's very basic. Okay. But that thing, so we basically had 2 cots set up together. We had a little Tempur-Pedic foam mattress topper. Nice. In our guest bedroom. Took that out, put it on top of the cots, put 2 blankets on there. Nice. And then ran the 20-degree Teton double sleeping bag. Sick. Best night of, I mean, it was like sleeping on a mattress. Yeah. Sleeping in the Red Cliff. Yeah. Sick. It was great.
Were you on cots?
Yeah, on cots. Nice. But having the couple blankets and the mattress topper made it so that you couldn't really feel where the bars were in between. Nice. So that was great, man. It was like finally I figured that out.
My solution to that with the lady is I have a climate double pad and just do that in a sim full nest. Yep. And you can it takes up perfectly like to the pole, to the side. And then I just hook her up with she always sleeps so cold. I hook her up with the 5-degree bag, even if it's 50 degrees at night. Yeah. And she'll I worry sometimes she's going to kill herself.
Just overheat.
Yeah, literally.
Dude, I know. That's insane because I brought like all 3 of my bags because we had some friends camping with us too. And I was like, someone might need an extra. We had the 20-degree bag. It was not very cold this weekend. Yeah. And she had like full sweats and a sweatshirt on. She had the 20-degree bag, had the Nunatak quilt on top of her, and she was still like, fully bundled up. Meanwhile, I'm out there like, all sprawled out, have to open up the sleeping bag. It's insane.
Yeah, it's insane. Even when I have like my, warmer bags, I have them fully zipped out or like in quilt mode, feet out, like just barely covering me, no clothes. I'm like, it's too hot.
Yeah. Oh, it's crazy the temperature difference and how that's like just a difference between men and women. Yeah, it must be.
Yeah, it's somehow genetic.
Yeah. What about you, man? What I know I have on here. You got to take out a little tester,
a little surprise,
a
little proto tent.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, pretty cool proto tent. Can't talk too much about it, but probably coming in the next month or 2. Something I have designed. Mm-hmm. Pretty sick. Mm-hmm. It's my first like start to finish designed shelter. I've helped with a lot of other stuff, but yeah. Really cool tent. It's a single person tent, ultra light with more room than you know what to do with in the best way.
Yeah.
Because it takes up 0 room to set up. So.
And it's a very different design than your typical solo.
Yeah. Very, very different.
Gives it a lot more space. It's still, I mean, as of right now, it's hovering around like Silex weight. Yeah. In that ballpark.
Silex weight, but you honestly might have more room.
You do.
But it takes up half of what the Silex takes up.
Yeah. You have more sleeping room for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's sick. I mean, keep your eyes peeled for that coming up here.
A lot of the design was kind of based when I was in New Zealand. You get on these ridge lines or you're in the trees and there's just space to set up a tent. You're either in tussock or you're on a rocky ridge that's not very flat. You need something that's going to be super capable in the wind. You also need something that, for me, I hate sleeping in like a coffin. Like, I'm never going to be that guy. So I wanted something that's nice and spacious, super wind resistant, weather resistant, but also, just take up no space.
Yeah.
Like, set up in a deer bed type shelter that is very roomy.
Yeah. I think that's the big thing. It's very, because we have a couple other 1-person tents.
Yeah.
But this one is designed for, East Coasters, right?
Yeah.
If you're
even out here, like I know some of the spots, like it's hard to find a flat spot for your entire tent. That's kind of the solution here. It's light, roomy, simple to set up, easy. Like, I think it's kind of definitely like East Coast, like, hiking like where you can't set up a big tent, then this is the shelter for you. But out here, if you're up high in the mountains and you want to post up on a ridge or you want to post up a deer bed, like, yeah,
it's almost like if you take your standard like worn trail head, like a trail that you would take up to Hanging Lake or something like that, trail that size, not talking about like a game trail, but that, if you imagine the space of that flat area,
you can fit the shelter in there, which is sick. So hopefully see that coming out soon. Tent's actually done now. Just working on the last few little accessories, but quite excited to show it to the world. We got some trips coming up that we're going to be using it on, and photographing and videographing it.
We'll just put like a big blurred photo of nothing,
big blurred
over this section.
Yeah, I like that.
Every episode we could just, like, until it comes out, take 1/4 of that photo out. And it's just like,
I like that.
If you're watching, you'll be able to tell what we do here. But
It'll be called the Brightwater. So keep your eyes peeled for the socials, the podcast, the YouTube videos.
All the goods. Yeah. No, that's sweet, man. Well, speaking of, that's a summer tent. Yeah. That's like probably going to be using that on some hunts this year.
Oh yeah, for sure. Oh, let's get into that. It is tag season in Colorado. Everybody should know what they drew.
Yes, sir.
And I lucked out. I drew what I wanted. What about you, Ryan?
Yeah. Got our deer tag. That was kind of the main thing. Other than that, did you get your leftover or your cow tag?
I got my first season elk tag.
Nice.
So first rifle, either stack.
Yep.
So I got that, which my buddy also drew too. Not like a hard one to draw, but it's still just, there's a chance that you don't draw it, which is nice to get that. Funny enough, I didn't get any of my leftover stuff.
The second choice, yeah.
Yeah, dude, I put in quite a bit of leftover choices and got nothing.
Yeah. Well, those are tricky because if you look at this at the stats, it's hardly any of those second choice tags are 100%.
Yeah.
It's like, it'll be like 15 out of 40 people drew this with their second choice. So it's a little tricky, but you just never know how many people are putting in any given year.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Well, there's always the leftover tags too.
Yeah.
If possible, I'd like to put in for another deer for like third rifle.
Like a B tag, doe tag.
Yeah. Yeah, like a B tag.
Yeah.
Just an emergency tag.
Fill the freezer, yeah. Just in case. You never know. Yeah, I drew the deer tag. We got a second season deer tag coming, and then I'm just doing like over the counter archery stuff. And my dad, he drew a moose tag.
Ooh,
cow moose tag. So he's going to be chasing that up around here.
Okay. Yeah.
So I'm going to have to be on call in September for helping him pack that out.
That's sick, man. It's not that hard of a tag to draw.
The cow moose, and
it's doable.
Yeah. Colorado, like for me personally, Colorado, a bull moose, you look at the ones that most guys get, like there's some awesome ones, and it would still be super cool to kill a bull. Obviously, that's impressive. But, if you're like a lot of the bulls guys get are little tiny ones, right?
Yeah.
Not to disparage it, it's still hard, but I'm just saying, like, the act of killing a cow moose, I think, would be sick too, because you're getting just so much meat, and it's a different species.
Yeah, different species, different kind of hunting too. It's very like, I hear up north, like Steamboat area is just nearly overrun with them. I wonder if the tags will increase.
Yeah.
Up there, because I hear it's just they're kind of actually messing up stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I think I mean a lot of these units here in Colorado are now doing the cow moose hunts, which a while ago they didn't really have as many.
Yeah.
So like they just added a couple this past year, I think. So, and I think that's because of that, because there's some areas where moose are doing really good. Here
I
in
also
Colorado.
like the new first season rifle deer hunt.
Yeah.
I want to get in on one of those.
Yeah.
Pretty bad.
Yeah, and so that's there's a few units where they introduced the first season, and I think a lot of that is CWD. There's some areas where CWD is starting to pop up, and so they're just trying to get more
info, management. Yeah.
Yep. So, I'm pretty stoked, man. It should be fun. I'm excited for our deer hunt there.
Oh, it's gonna be so good.
It's gonna be awesome.
Nobody else applied for it, right? It was just you and I.
No, nobody else applied for it.
We'll be going into the depths.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I feel like for me, elk hunting is about the meat, like having an either sex tag. You see an elk, she's going down.
Yeah.
The closer to the chuck, the better. I still go out pretty far, but I don't want to go push super hard.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to get one, but it's my meat hunt.
Yeah.
Whereas the deer hunt is kind of, I don't want to say trophy hunt, but
we're gonna kill some bucks.
Yeah, you want to go after, like, I want to go deep, looking for the ones that sit in the nasty spots. Like that's like my fun hunting.
Yeah,
because you see more deer usually.
You do.
You see elk. You got a 5-day season. You're like,
it can be a grind.
Yeah, you may not see one.
Yeah,
which is just so discouraging. At least with deer, you're like, there's a doe.
Yeah.
You're going to see deer.
And you usually see bucks too. I mean,
you have some choice too. Like, it's like with elk, is like the first legal bull I see is going down.
Yeah.
Because I need food in my freezer.
It's a lot of meat to be passing up if you see a cow and just walks by.
Yeah, literally.
It's tough to pass that up. But I'm excited for that, man. We'll have some fun stuff coming out. Well, that's kind of the weekend recap.
Yeah.
I think before we get into our interview, we should probably hit happy hour real quick. We got some fun stories that we're going to cover.
We got to stop doing these in the morning.
I know.
It's just bubble waters. Secretly, it's full of tequila. No, it's all just bubble water.
We do have the employee party coming up. I don't know. Maybe we could sneak a beer before.
Just get fucked up. What time is it? It's 11.
On
5 o'clock somewhere on a Tuesday.
Yeah, in England.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you guys stay tuned for the happy hour. Welcome to the Seek Outside Happy Hour. This is where we cover a few. Yeah, I like that. That was a good fake noise or like sound effect. But we cover a few, I don't know, just quirky stories, I would say, that we find in the outdoor news cycle.
Yeah. And
just discuss. Some of them end up relating back to Seek Outside. Some of them don't. But here we go.
The nice thing is I never know.
Yeah.
I'm always going raw into these.
Blind reaction. Yeah. Well, and actually, I usually don't know either. This is what Connor sends over. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
But this first one I did kind of hear about, and there's two related stories. So the first one I heard about this weekend, but basically there was a couple climbers that did Everest.
Okay.
And they huffed some xenon gas.
What is that?
Yeah. So it's basically a gas, and kind of like the concept is it when you do that, it essentially starts the chemical process that takes place when you go up in altitude. So essentially it eliminates the need to have to acclimatize or acclimate
or
to
like stay at camp 1 or 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So it basically starts that chemical process in your blood to allow the oxygen capture to happen a little bit quicker. So, but it's I don't know. It's kind of a controversial thing because it also they're not sure what the negative side effects are. It also does give you a little buzz beforehand.
Sick. I mean, it sounds like a win to me.
That's what I'm saying, dude.
Happy hour, we're doing xenon gas.
Yeah, I don't know where the hookup is for that, but
We're doing galaxy gas.
I don't know if that's the same thing. Doing galaxy gas on Everest, you'd probably die. From what I hear.
Yeah. From what Ryan's an avid guy.
Huffing gas here. But no, I think this kind of relates to some of the other topics. Like, I don't know, man. It's the modern world. Use what you can use
Yeah.
to have fun. And I was thinking about it, like, all right, Everest, there's a lot of problems with, the base camps and the camp 1, 2, and 3 being just like swarmed with people. You see these videos of like all these people lined up waiting. Trash. Yeah. I mean, it's basically a party over there. It's not even like an expedition necessarily. I mean, I shouldn't say that, but it's still an expedition, but it's not like this wilderness experience because there's so many people.
Yeah.
If you can, this allows you to hike up quicker. That might be a benefit to the to the landscape there because you don't have as many people chilling, taking 5 shits before they go to the next camp.
They could, yeah.
They're just taking one shit.
Yeah, just one.
But I don't know. Like, what are your thoughts on that? I think it's
I don't know.
just use it.
It's experimental. I feel like the last time what we talked about, like THC for athletes, I don't know. It's all just our bodies are pretty good at doing stuff naturally, but if it helps, makes you go quicker. I mean, is it a performance enhancing drug at that point? Probably.
Yeah.
So
it probably is, but I mean, there's also, people have taken like Viagra before they go up because it like opens up the blood vessels.
I do that. I do that every day, dude. I just take some Viagra before I come into work and
pitch the old tent.
Nobody can ever know. Yeah.
We know when you walk into work, it's freaking embarrassing, dude. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, I mean, people do that, right? And so it's kind of like the same thing. It's anytime somebody's like huffing something. I feel like anytime somebody does something quicker than everybody else and uses something to do it, or like does something better, bench presses more and they took something beforehand, people get all up in arms. But it's kind of the way of the world. I mean, you use performance enhancing shit like we use. Like, where is the line? We use crampons, right? This metal thing. That's a performance enhancing piece of gear.
I agree, dude. Like, dude, a good way to put that in my world is like the e-bike versus acoustic bike.
Yeah.
That's like, sure, you're going further, you're going faster, all this stuff. We get it, and they shouldn't be allowed in the spots that they aren't allowed. Motorized gravel versus non-motorized. But people get so grumpy online about e-bikes.
Yeah.
And it's like, we're all out there doing the same thing.
Yeah.
We're having fun.
Yeah.
I'm not strictly riding a mountain bike to be a cross-country world athlete.
Yeah.
I'm doing it because I like having fun. It's a nice thing to, after work, you go kind of, it's a nice release, go ride.
Yeah.
And if that's on an e-bike or a mountain bike, does it really matter?
Yeah.
Why are we all up in arms about it?
That's the thing, man. And like, just because it makes it easier, it's like the long range shooting thing, right? I mean, so many people are, have questioned it's, people can reach out and kill an elk from 750, 800 yards now, even longer.
Yeah.
That's like, okay, I mean, there is the argument to like, if you're messing up the numbers that the CPW or the Fish and Wildlife, maybe that affects the harvest rates a little bit to where it might affect tag allocations. But it's like, can't blame the people for using them because, like what we were just talking about, if you're number one, if you are paying like, $1,500 to buy a tag in some out of state place, not to mention all the other money that you spend on gear. you want to be able to bring something home.
Yeah.
Even just for the meat. And if like a long range rifle, it's like if you're effective with it, if you can kill something.
My only thing with the long range, I totally agree with you, is just like a little bit of the fair chase. Like if you're touching out 1,200 yards, it's like, I mean, that's not as fair as some guy at 400 yards. But is there really a difference?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, 400 yards.
It's not like 400 yards, which is like I'd shoot 400 pretty easy, and it's like, I guess not easy. I'd say that's like kind of my max, 450. If it's like easy shot, wind's good.
Yeah.
But like they don't know I'm there either.
Yeah.
At 450, and I would say most people would put that into like a fair chase thing. So if they don't know I'm there and some guy's shooting from a ridge and he's good, that's the only thing with long range shooting. You got to make sure that your bullet can kill. Yeah. At that range. Like if you're shooting stuff that's your bullets aren't expanding at 1,200 yards, it's kind of cruel, right? Yeah, for sure. So as long as your bullet's expanding and you're gonna hit that animal, then you're gonna kill it quickly, then I don't see an issue. Yeah, and I guess my point is just like, where's the line at? Like Onyx. Onyx is shit. I was literally about to say Onyx. Yeah. If you use Onyx, are you a worse hunter, or are you less of a hunter? What Onyx does is it gives you more. Gives you more balls to go into an area to drop over the next bridge. Yeah. And be like, all right, I'm probably not going to die back here. Yeah. Or like, satellite messaging, all that stuff. It provides like a boost. It's just like, where does the line sit at? I mean, so you could really just go technology, right? It keeps advancing. Like you could say, should we be killing elk with spears? Yeah. Or should we be, is a bow cheating? Yeah. Is a rifle cheating? Like you get to, it just as technology advances, and obviously we're advancing so much faster than in the past, but where's the line? Where is the line? And if we're going to talk about acoustic bikes versus e-bike, why aren't you walking? Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. They didn't create the, why don't you go get a horse? Yeah, go get a horse. Like you could just argue that all day. Yeah. No, it's a little crazy. And it's just more like you can't pick and choose there. I think it's just, I mean, obviously probably a good thing that we're not drone striking elk. Yeah. That's probably a little bit too far, but I mean, it'd be easy. But who knows? Maybe one day that'll be like the thing. The drone tag. Yeah. Yeah. Droning elk or must be within 8 miles of. Yeah. But like people of that day, they'll probably think that what we're doing now is unethical. Yeah. But I don't know. It's funny though, because the other one that Connor sent over, the other article is inhaling carbon dioxide could boost athletic performance, but at what cost? I feel like that's kind of the opposite. That's crazy, that's dude. Like that just doesn't dioxide sound... or monoxide? Because monoxide kills you. Yeah. Dioxide. So what you want to do is pop these bubbly waters and just just give it a juice. I think it's kind of the same thing. Yeah. But this subheadline says a new approach to endurance training involves inhaling carbon monoxide and is reviving old debates about dying to win. Wow. I mean, like, dude, back in the day, like Tour de France guys that were blood doping were dying in their sleep because their heart rate was so low. Yeah. I just sometimes too serious. Yeah. Just goes to kind of relates to the same thing. Where's the line? Where's the line? Yeah. But all right. So that was kind of the second article. The third one is kind of relevant because this is the time of year where, number one, you start seeing in the news like bear attacks, right? Springtime, bears are getting active. There have been multiple instances in the news recently where people have had successful bear defenses and or unsuccessful, and just conflict with bears. A couple shed hunters. But it kind of just brings up the age-old debate of, this Outdoor Life article was talking about 10 millimeters and the debate between semi-autos and wheel guns and stuff like that. And, there's just always so much controversy. And number one, I like to point out always that we talked about this in a previous podcast, but there have been
many successful bear defenses with 22s out there.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, we did talk about that.
And the thing is, people have them. There've been lots of bear defense things with bear spray. You know, there's also been lots of unsuccessful bear defenses with all these items as well.
Mm-hmm.
But what I kind of wanted to point out is, so this past weekend we went up camping, right? And I brought my pistol, 9mm, right? That's what I got. I think for Colorado, no grizzlies, it's fine.
Should be.
Yeah, it should be fine. But the thing is, I think about it like we're going camping with some new people, and they were all, I don't know, not used to it, but like that's the first fear people have when you take them out camping is bears.
Yeah.
Which for me, that's like here in Colorado, most of the bears are they're hardly bigger than a freaking German Shepherd. They're obviously you got to respect them, but they're more scared of you. Like up in this area, I was turkey hunting last year, and I had a bear. I walked on this snow patch. There's no bear tracks. I walked back over that same snow patch like 15 minutes later, and there was bear tracks right over mine. Yeah, and they were tiny. They were like they fit within my boot thing there, and obviously the thing wanted nothing to do with me. But where I'm going with this is when I told my wife and I told these people that I have my pistol, it was like they were like, oh, okay, nice. Like there's this relief, and it's like I personally don't. If a bear was getting into my tent or charging, I probably, unless I'm keeping it on my person the whole time, which I'm not. Yeah, it's
useless.
Probably useless,
dude. I also feel that because I take mine. We actually both have the same pistol. Yeah, 9mm, and I take it out camping just to have. Mm-hmm. But dude, I'm more scared of people than I am bears. Yeah, to be 100% honest, But yeah, it's not on me. I sleep with it near me, But it's in the case. Yeah. I'm not going to be doing much, I don't know. It's more of a false sense of security.
It is.
When it comes to the bears, I think in Alaska, everybody was saying, you're better off with the bear spray. Mm-hmm. Especially because if you're in out of state and you shoot a bear and you can't make it look like enough of self-defense. Big trouble.
SOL. Yeah. Well, it's even worse down. I shouldn't say worse, but it's even more intense. The investigations down here because they're still
in Montana. And stuff.
Endangered.
Yeah. Endangered.
Well, and I always just bring up so my brother's girlfriend Megan. We've had her on the podcast before. She's a grizzly biologist up near Glacier, and they carry bear spray. They have a shotgun on the horses. Yeah, but they carry bear spray. And this is like the Fish and Wildlife Service. I think that they would probably, if guns were more effective, they would probably have guns. Yeah. But they have bear spray because it's.
If they're fired up, dude, a bear's being on PCP, a grizz. So, there's guys that definitely, it can save your life, either or of them, especially in that grizz country. But here, I don't know. Yeah. And you should be more scared of the town bears than the wilderness bears.
For sure.
Town bears are the ones that'll get you. Yeah. Almost I feel like it's every other year you hear a story out of Durango. Yeah. Some guy walking, the bear was being fed by some guy, and then he got smoked by the bear because no food that day. Yeah.
And that's what I try to explain new people that are camping. It's we're out here, the black bears here are pretty scared of people. Yeah. But I also don't want to discount the fact that if it makes you feel better, that's obviously a good thing, and that's probably going to give you more confidence if you do have a bad situation happen. If you have a bear in your vicinity and you're okay, I feel more confident about this versus if you have nothing, you're kind of just scrambling, freaking out. Yeah. That's not good. You don't want that. But
it's scarier than bears? Moose. Yeah. I had a moose go through camp. 9mm ain't doing nothing if this thing attacks me. Yeah. They're so scared because they're so
they're wired.
They're spastic, man.
Yeah. And it's way freaking bigger. Yeah. And I think there's more moose attacks here in Colorado than there are bear attacks. Or maybe moose deaths or something like that. Yeah. I remember reading that.
Because they're so big and they'll just trample you. And they end up in the most wild spots. I think there was a moose couple years ago in Grand Junction.
That's crazy.
Yeah, they're cracked.
That's wild.
They just go do whatever they want.
Yeah, they're just running. You see those videos from like North Dakota or like South Dakota where they're just out in the middle of the plains running down the highway, just this giant horse-looking thing. It's like, how did they get out there?
They just have a mission, man.
I will tell you another thing that's a little bit scarier than a bear. It's a skunk. So we were camping in North Carolina, and we had a tent that it was before I worked here, and it didn't have the rain flies, just like a standard half dome. And we were hanging out under the stars, and we go to bed, and my wife hears something sniffing around out there, and she like freaks out. You know, obviously when you're in the tent, everything sounds bigger.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But so I'm like, okay, you know, and so I peek my head out, and there's a freaking skunk like 3 yards. And I'm like, Julia, don't move. She's like freaking out. She thinks it's a bear. I'm like,
yeah.
She's like, is it a bear? I'm like, no, it's worse. It's a skunk.
Yeah.
That thing sprays us. We're screwed.
Yeah. I'm more scared of the kitties, dude.
Yeah.
Like, kitties are I don't know why. They just, you won't see them.
Yeah,
they'll see you.
They're trained to kill.
I was never afraid of them until I had an experience where I was hiking up this like slot canyon with a worthless dog. And I look in front of me, and underneath this rock is a kitty, like 30 foot, maybe. I don't know. It was real close.
Just right.
And I just start backing up, grab a rock. Like I had nothing. I was just hiking, you know?
Yeah.
And that's scary.
Yeah.
And ever since then, I've been way more scared of kitties than anything else.
Yeah.
I've heard of situations where people have been where I'm fishing, and the cats keep walking towards them across a dam. And it's just like, yeah.
Nope.
Sketch.
I'm out. Yeah.
Sketch.
Yeah. And that's a situation where a gun is for sure. Because at least you can fire off like a warning shot.
It's scary. Yeah. It's scary around. But yeah.
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 Well, just a reminder, stay safe out there for with the bears, and, you know, do what makes you feel best. But
let them be wild.
Yeah. Yeah. And but yeah, well, let's get on to the interview with Drew Miles here. Thank you guys for joining. We're going to talk tripods, business stuff. Going to talk everything under the sun with Drew here. So check it out. You guys have a great week.
Peace.
I haven't watched it yet. I got to admit, I've seen the trailer, and I literally put it on my queue the other night, and then I saw that the Nuggets were on against the Clippers. I had to finish that up. I will watch that film tonight because it looks awesome. The antelope film you're talking about?
Yeah, antelope film. Yeah, it turned out good, man. Like, I don't know. I film all my hunts now. Mm-hmm. Whether I film myself or I bring a filmer along. And that's the first one we really put like a lot of time into, making like professional film. And it worked out. So we got 60,000 views, growing the YouTube up. So yeah, we changed the name to Tricer Tripods. Maybe that's what did it, because it was like Tricer 68039 or something like that. About a month ago. Maybe changing Tricer Tripods helped. I don't know. Well, yeah, we jumped up like 7,000 followers in 2 weeks, and we're at like 8,000 followers now, which is nothing compared to some of my friends, obviously, but it's still a big deal, man. It's hard. It's. I tell people all the time, like, whether I am like, I'm good friends with like Bo Disciples, James Visser, right? He's got like 100,000 followers. Like, whether I'm James or I'm Drew, I'm still putting the same amount of time into my videos as James is, but you're just not gaining these followers. And that's frustrating. It's really hard. It's the hard thing about YouTube or anything, like any social media. You put time into it, and sometimes it just hits, man. And that one hit. So cool. Good for us.
No, that's awesome. Well, quick introduction here, because I have something I want to kind of piggyback on to what you just talked about there. But here on the Seek Outside podcast with Drew Miles from Tricer Tripods. Mm-hmm. If you guys have an Instagram or a Facebook, you've probably seen their ads. I feel like you guys are everywhere. You guys do a great job with that.
Yeah.
But Drew, just real quick, if you want to give a quick introduction, what you do, where you're at, all that good stuff, that'd be great.
1,000-foot view. I'm just a redneck engineer that is living the dream, man. I own, operate Tricer Tripods. I'm the brain behind all the designs and products. So my job is pretty much just go hunting, design products, and do cool stuff, man. I just got back I did 4 weeks in Hawaii hunting, and then I got back from that, went to South Africa. I just got home on Saturday from South Africa, just running the new bipod through the paces, the new tripods through the paces, and yeah, man, I just build really cool tripods for guys who like to shoot stuff or find stuff. I mean, whatever, photography, glassing, whatever you do, we make tripods for you, and just a little bit. We just do things a little bit differently than everybody else.
Yeah, no, they're awesome. We'll get into the gear stuff, but I did want to piggyback because I have seen, and just through your Instagram and stuff, been following you. It seems like you are filming a bunch of hunts, and you know you're a business owner. You have lots of things that you have to do every single day, and I think for a lot of people, going hunting or going out into the woods is kind of supposed to be the break, right? Now, I've been fortunate enough to be on a few hunts that have been filmed, and I've even filmed a few for us. And whether it's, you know, doing like a full-length film type thing or even just getting photos of like products, I know that it's tough. It's work. It's something that you have to dedicate yourself to. You can't enter that hunt with the same mindset as you do when you're just going out to have fun and fill a tag. So how do you balance that? Because I gotta imagine, like, you're super busy. You guys are still, I mean, it seems like you guys are a lot bigger now, but still a newer company. I could imagine that's just, you know, difficult to go from, you know, 1,000 miles an hour to 99.9 miles an hour.
Yeah, it's hard because you don't want to ruin your passion, right? Like, you don't want to go out there and it's with the influencing stuff. Like, I actually honestly just gave up all my social media. So I actually hired Luke Duesenberry and his wife, Alexa Duesenberry. I don't know who they are, but some of the best creators in the industry. I mean, if you watch like high-end hunt films, like Luke is my creative director now, and he's like running my social medias for me. His wife is. So I passed that off. But on like hunts, like I really actually, I have like high-end cameras now. I actually really enjoy the photography side of things, probably more than the video. So I'm always getting pictures myself as well now. A lot of the content you'll start seeing coming out will be from my camera personally, me doing that. It's part of the business, right? Like, we have to get content, we have to get photos. But I bring a filmer along with me is what I do. Like, then it's not so bad. Like, if I'm on a hunt, like if it's my kids' hunt, I can film, right? Mm-hmm. But if it's like my hunt, I'm not going to film. Like, I can't do both. Even filming up my kids' hunt's pretty hard, but I mean, I kind of know now, like, I've watched enough freaking MeatEater to know like what shots I need to get to put together a 15-minute film. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to film the whole time. Yeah. You need to get that B-roll, you need to get that glassing footage, you need to get the, you know, the mountain house, you need to get me putting up the Seek Outside tent, you know what I mean? Putting up that TP, you know, get all that in there. Yep. But yeah, I don't know. I enjoy it. It's another aspect to it. It can be a little bit beating sometimes, you know, filming, but it's important. The hardest thing for me is balancing the my personal life and the business, right? And that's why I gave up social media. Like, it's hard to like. You want to go out and hunt and be by yourself, but at the same time, you have to realize, like, hey, the reason why I'm able to hunt like 100 days a year is because of Tricer. So I have to get that content, right? So it's like, okay, I guess I have to have a film crew there. It is what it is. You know what I mean? Like, it's like if I have to have a film crew there, then I have to have a film crew there.
Symbiotic relationship between yourself and your business self, like your pleasure self and your business self.
Yeah, and honestly, it's been really neat. Like, we just went to South Africa, and we had a film crew there the whole time with us. And my son, my 11-year-old, was on the hunt, and he ended up killing 3 animals, and everyone's on film. Yeah. Right? So that's, like, all captured now in these what will be high-quality films, right? And he's there with me. Right, or the antelope film that just kind of blew up on YouTube, like, he's in that film with me, right? Or like, my son killed a big mule deer last year, and I filmed the hunt myself, but like, that's all on film forever now, right? Yeah. So like, I don't regret it. Like, I mean, you're a little bit younger than me, I think, but like, I remember back in the day, like, my dad had that big old VHS. Like, I'm almost 40 here this year. You know, you saw the VHS tape in there, that big old, you know, what is it, RCV or whatever. Mm-hmm. Camcorder, and he'd be following me around on my dirt bike, you know what I mean? Like, getting that footage, you know, and like, that's all we're doing now is just creating memories, right? It's nice to have those memories there, and you know, it's kind of cool. It's kind of look, you know, it's kind of weigh it both ways. But yeah, sometimes having a camera crew sucks.
I think that is a really cool part because, you know, I don't have kids yet, but I have thought about that just with some of the stuff that we've done. I mean, you get to go on these cool adventures, and especially for you with your son, being able to do that with him, like that's something that has only really existed recently. Because even like back in the day, you know, it was so hard to produce, especially a hunting TV show. Because now you can film a hunting TV show on your iPhone, right? There's no like you really don't need much. You can fit it in your pocket. But even back in the day, you know, there's this whole production thing. You had to have a couple cameramen with big old, you know, cameras following you around. It was probably very hard to kill an animal, especially if you're on public land. That's why a lot of those old school ones were filmed on these private ranches where, you know, because they have to have X amount of opportunities to be able to film it, right? But it's I think of it like, I don't have a kid yet, but I think it would be really cool, like when I was a kid, if I could see my dad back, you know, in his prime, if you will, hunting and just doing all this gnarly stuff in the mountains. I think as a kid that would be like super cool. So that's a cool thing for you, because you kind of have it both ways. You can look back and remember that your kid was on this hunt with you, but then also, you know, when your kid grows up and God forbid you can't do it anymore, you get an injury or something like that, you can look back and it's there forever on YouTube.
Yeah, that is the neat thing, is going back and watching some of these films on YouTube. And you're going to see my stuff slowly get better and better, right? The more we invest in this, and the more we realize like the high quality stuff is, right? But yeah, that's what it's about, is just getting out there and doing it, saving those memories and having it. I mean, my team, obviously, like there was some pushback on me getting off of social media, because like people want access to me, right? Like I am Tricer, I'm the mustache, right? Like people, they relate to me, but at the same time, I'm like, this is just too much. Like I'm spending 4 hours a day on just scrolling on Instagram, like, you know, I have like, there's like fan pages dedicated to hating me now. Like, it's awesome. Like, we made it, right? Like, yeah, we made it. Like, it's just too much for me to handle. So like, there has to be a balance there, right? Between like me opening my whole life up to the world, and also me being closed off. So like with the hunts, like you'll see, like I'm the first to admit, like I am not a great shot. I am not a great hunter, but I love it as much as everybody else, right? So you'll watch some of my films and you'll see me this year, like I'm in New Mexico and I end up gut shooting a pig and losing it, and then I miss a deer with my muzzle loader, right? Like, and like most guys would cut that out, and I just put it in there. And there's a part in there where I'm just so bummed out, and I'm just like talking to the camera, and I'm just like, dude, like I just totally blew it today. And like, and I told him, I was like, don't cut that stuff out of the film. Like I want this in the film, and he's here there, because I want people to see that I'm a normal dude. Like the average dude isn't Ryan Lampers or Brian Call or these like, you know, these hardcore Steve Vernellas. Like the average dude is probably more like me, right? Like every once in a while we stumble into a big buck. Most of the time we're shooting a forky and we're happy with it, right?
Yeah.
And that's kind of what you get from my hunt films, is you get like just me. You get the real me, and I like to show that. Like I can't pretend to be who I'm not, right? Like I've been getting a lot of hate from like the shooting community for like, oh, you suck at shooting, and I'm like, yeah, dude, I build tripods. Like I'm not a great shooter. Like I know stuff. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
that's why I had to build a tripod that works so well.
Yeah, like, you know what I mean? Like, and I'm the first to admit that, right? Like just because you're not like. Just because you're not great at something doesn't mean you can't love something, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not great at hunting, but I love it. You know what I mean? I just started hunting like big game in like 2014. I'm all self-taught from listening to like Jay Scott and Randy Newberg and Ranella, and like watching YouTube videos, and you know what I mean? Like I learned I bought a Seek Outside teepee, you know what I mean? And I was on my first backcountry hunt, you know what I mean? Like back in the day, and it's just... And that's what I want people to understand when they deal with me, right? And I think that's why people really are drawn to Tricer, is that I'm just me, and that's what you're gonna get. You're never gonna get me like trying to pretend to be something I'm not, right? Like I hate when they get photos of me and I look like I'm just like Captain America with a rifle in my hand, like the wind's blowing. Like we got some of those. I'm like, don't use those. Like that's not who I want to be. Like it's not who I am. I'm a dad of 5, right? I'm a foster parent. I'm a Christian. Like I'm just an average dude who has the coolest job in the world, and part of that is filming my hunts and making cool products, man.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. That's what it's... I think it's kind of transitioning to that, is people respect that a little bit. Not respect it more, but they want to... I think part of it's YouTube, right? You just have access to whatever you want. You could watch hunting films. If you're sick one day, you could watch, 12 hours of the exact type of hunting film that you want. Instead of like back in the day, you'd have to throw on Sportsman Channel, and there'd be like one where it's like whitetail hunting or like pig hunting. You're like, I don't want to watch that. Now 12 straight hours of elk hunts in New Mexico. If you got a tag, you're dialing in. So I think part of it is there's just so much access that people like to see both sides now. You want to see like the super high quality, just gnarly backcountry style hunt where everything goes perfect, but then you also want to see those where people are missing, because it's like that's the true experience of any backcountry trip, whether it's fishing, hunting, backpacking. Some of the trips you have great weather, everything works out perfectly. Some of them it is just a shit show from the beginning, and that's how it is, but that's what people like to see. So I respect that for sure.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong. I mean, like, my hunts are pretty hardcore, right, per se, right? I'm just not good at it. Like, it's like I'm doing it, right? Like, I could surf, I could snowboard, but I just can't go to the park and hit the half pipe. You know what I mean? Like, it's one of those things, right? Like, yes, I'm going to fly into Alaska this year and get dropped off with Ben Denimani, and we're going to hunt freaking blacktails, right? And then be grizzly bears. Like, the same thing you see these hardcore guys doing, but, like, I'm probably not going to shoot a giant non-typical blacktail. I'm probably going to shoot the first fork I see and be stoked on it. You know what I mean? Because, like, that's my capabilities, right? And I am trying to be better at hunting, and I am starting to kill some bigger stuff, and I am starting to pass a lot more, but I just enjoy it, right? And that's the thing too. Like, yeah, dude, I grew up on the Outdoor Channel. Like, that's how I learned how to hunt, man. Like, when I was little, like, I would wake up in the morning. Like, I came from a rough house, and I would get up at 5 in the morning and I'd watch like Bill Dance and like Jim Shockey and these guys, and like watch them. And then that's how I was like, I want to get my license. Like, I got my hunting license at 13 on my own. None of my family hunted. And I found some guy to take me to hunt birds in the valley out here. You know, we'd go hunt doves and stuff. And then, you know, and then I hunted birds for 10, 15 years. And all of a sudden I decided to go hunt big game. You know what I mean? It's just like, yeah, I don't know. I'm just a dude, man, who loves hunting. You know, kind of random. I went to Africa, and Eva Shockey's husband was on the hunt with me. Like, super cool dude. But I was like,
wait, as in, that's. I was gonna say you mean Jim Shockey, but
no, Eva
that's
Shockey's
his daughter.
Husband. Yeah, just randomly had him out there with us. It was super cool to hang out with him. I've never met Eva or anything, but I don't know why I'm bringing that up. I'm name dropping right now for no reason other than I mentioned Jim Shockey, and I got to meet his son-in-law, who was a super cool guy. So if you ever get to
that's cool. Yeah, that's cool. I mean,
Eva's husband, he is a really cool dude to hang out with.
He's like, Jim Shockey's one of the guys that I feel like makes me want to go to these crazy, you know, Lithuania and hunt stag or whatever. I love his stuff. But no, that's cool, man. And that, like, I don't know. I think that's great. I think that's great to have in the outdoor gear industry as well, is just people that are, you know, I mean, there's certain things that you bring to the table if your dad hunted, your grandpa hunted, and, you know, you just have this innate knowledge from the time you were 3, you were seeing animals coming in. But then there's also a whole different set of knowledge gear-wise that I think comes from folks like yourself that kind of got into it a little bit later or weren't like as, you know, involved with it through their whole life, and kind of like the adult onset hunter, if you will, because it's guys like, and you kind of had mentioned it, you know, you had to do a lot of the research yourself. So you probably came into it with like a fresher mind, and that probably helps with designing tripods, and you're not stuck to the thing that your grandpa used that, you know, is just the family tradition. Oh, we use this kind of tripod to do this, and that's what we use. So I guess that's not really a question, but maybe you could just kind of describe your transition and how you got into making tripods.
Yeah, man, that's a good point too, and like on how my take on how I build stuff, because right, like I said, like I'm not the best hunter, but I do think I'm the best at making tripods, right? Like I have to believe that. People get mad at me like, oh, you're so egotistical, but it's like, no, man, I think I'm the best at what I do. I have to feel that way, but it does come from like my own kind of thought process, right? Like nothing I could build really comes from other things. Like I get a lot of hate right now, like, oh, you copied this guy and this. And I'm like, I literally have never owned that guy's thing. I mean, most of them I hadn't even heard of until I made like my new bipod is just incredible. But I'm getting like so much hate on some of these forums, like, oh, you copied this guy's bipod or this. And I'm like, dude, I've never even held that in my life. It's just a 2-legged bipod that I built to do what I think is, you know, what a bipod should do, right? And it's by far like the best-selling bipod out there right now, right? Like we've sold like 4,000 of these in the last like, you know, month.
Wow,
it's crazy. Like it's crazy. Like it's and it's just a bipod that I made that just does cool stuff and works for hunting. And it's just how I got into it is I'm just a redneck, man. Like I grew up in a rough house. My mom's a drug addict. My dad's an alcoholic, and they divorced when I was real young. My mom was, you know, couldn't get clean, and my dad started a sheet metal company when I was like 14. I started working for him when I was 12, doing like side jobs and stuff in the HVAC industry. And when I was 14, he'd made me work. I'd work 85 hours a week at a sheet metal shop. Like I would work every day during the summer from 6 a.m. till 10 p.m. at night. And then, because we were just starting out, and I learned work ethic. When I went to high school, I would get off at 2 o'clock. One of his employees would pick me up, and I'd go work at the shop until 10 o'clock at night every single night. Like I was destined to be a sheet metal worker, right? And through that, I learned, a lot of mechanics, right? Like we never had money growing up, so if I wanted a bicycle, I'd have to go to the swap meet and buy like an old Haro, and then go buy some GT cranks somewhere else and some Redline. Handlebars and, some triple clamps from Diamondback, and I put that bike together, right? And I'd build a bike because my family couldn't afford to go buy bicycles. So I just kind of was always mechanical and always learning things. And I've always had this mind that's a little bit different. I don't know what you say, like whatever, I'm autistic. I don't know. There's something wrong with my brain. My brain doesn't work like everybody else's brain. It's like you see something, I see something totally different. And it's just how my brain's always been. I've always been the guy, like when I was a kid, I would build forts, but never play in them, right? I built dirt bikes, I built race boats, I bought dune buggies and I'd buy cars and tear them apart and cut them and weld them and put roll cages in them and do all, it's like 16 years old, 15 years old, right? Like I bought my first boat at 15 before I even had a car. It was a 2-seat hydro, right? Like a friggin' no reverse, no neutral, just fast. And I blew that thing up like 4 times, right? But like, that's how I learned how to do stuff, is just, by having to figure it out, right? And that's kind of transcended into this. And eventually I was running my dad's company up until last year. I ended up quitting after 20 years. Still a little controversial, a little touchy subject in the family. I'm the heir apparent to like one of the largest sheet metal companies in Southern California now, and I walked away from it. But I've just been, an inventor. I got my first patent, and I was probably 25 years old. I'm almost 40 now. I patented a little widget. That little widget, the first year we took $1,000 dividend from it. And I told my partners, I'm like, let's just invest this in real estate or something. I'm not, like $1,000, trust me, in 2012, to me was a lot of money. Right, at that point, I was going to have my 4th kid. We had lost our house to the recession, right? We were in the construction industry. Like, my pay got cut in half. Like, we were struggling, right? We were renting. And I was like, man, this is not enough. Like, $1,000 is not going to make me happy, right? Like, let's just invest this stuff and see what we could do with it. And ended up buying a couple houses with that. And then I was on an elk hunt with my father-in-law in 2018. And I was carrying his giant outdoorsman's tripod, my tripod, his optics, his rifle. It was like, it weighed a ton. And I remember I was sitting on a rock and I was like, man, like I can do something better. And I had an idea for a tripod, and I came home and I welded up this little prototype tripod in my shop, and that was the first one.
Wow.
And then we just kind of went from there, man. And I ended up losing a bunch of money making the first tripods. They weren't that great. They used trekking poles. They just weren't that great. And I, then eventually I had some better ideas, and we decided to sell some of that real estate that we originally bought with the first widget. I mean, we're fully self-funded. Nothing we've done has been like from investors or anything. It's just been like my 2 partners invested $10,000 in me in 2012, and that's kind of where this thing started, from $10,000 15 years ago, right? And
wow.
then, I mean, the rest is history, dude. We started making some stuff that was a little bit different, a little bit better, and now we're just, I don't know, man. We're the dudes when it comes to tripods, I guess. Like, we're just freaking selling tripods like no other, and everything.
And bipods.
Dude. Like bipods. Like, dude, like I had a guy.
No longer just you got to be Bicer, not Tricer.
Dude, yeah, I had a guy message me one time. He's like, "You could shit in a box and I'd buy it." And it's the truth, though, man. Like, we have just such a loyal fan base and a loyal people who follow us and believe in me and believe in the company. It's just so humbling, man. And God's just so good, and He's just blessed it so much. We give a percentage of all of our sales to my foster ministry, and since the first month we did that, my sales tripled. I mean, and we've been tripling every year since, man. Like, it's just, we're on a wild ride, dude. It's really cool, and all we're doing is just making cool stuff for guys to go hunting and find stuff, right? And we're also in the photography industry a little bit, right? We just picked up like B&H Photography. Like, we're doing that as well. I don't want to leave those guys out, but at the core, we're a hunting company, not a photography company, right? Yeah. And I think that's really where Tricer has thrived, is there's so many hunting companies who have taken photography stuff and put antlers on it and called it a hunting tripod or a hunting whatever, or they take a shooting bipod and put antlers on it and called it a hunting bipod. Mm-hmm. And we look at it differently. We look at it from a hunting standpoint first. So everything we make is from a hunting standpoint, and then it could be used for shooting, or then it could be used for photography, right? Like my new bipod was made 100% for hunting, not for a competitive market. But yes, you can use it competitively. People are using it every week now for competitive shooting, and they're loving it. But it wasn't made for that. It was made for situations I've been in the field that I needed a bipod, and now this thing adapts to all the situations and it works. We're a hunting company first, and then if you want to use it for other things, go ahead and you do it. Not the other way around.
So I kind of want to get to that bipod eventually, because that thing is sick, and like I've been seeing your guys' Instagram every week. It seems like, oh, we're sold out. Sorry. Here's some more. Oh, we're sold out.
Wild.
But tripods, right? I mean, that's something that's been around for a long time, right? Just the concept of it. And I think it's very interesting that you kind of come from a different background, just in being more like sheet metal. You know, I feel like a lot of companies are started by somebody that is first invested in that passion and finds out how to, or learns how to make the product, or you know, essentially the opposite of what you did. Like it seems like you kind of knew about the metal, the machining, the inventing, how components come together, how you know, the best way to fit things together, and then you got into hunting, and they just happen to collide there. So what is different about your tripods for people that maybe aren't super familiar with, you know, the different brands and stuff like that? What makes yours different?
I mean, obviously the standout thing would be the inverted legs. Our legs run opposite, so our fat legs on the bottom, our skinny legs at the top. So it allows us to be like a way more stable platform with a much lighter platform, because now our aluminum's much smaller. I can say that I can't tell you about some of the new stuff going on, but we have some new stuff going on with the tripods that are going to just blow people's minds this fall. Nice. on our entry level tripods. I patented micro panning into one of my tripods. You can micro pan with it. I think you have a JC, right? I have patented weighted leg inserts, right? I have patented my new shooting tripods are hexagon legs. No one's ever done that before. So I've got these hexagon leg twist lock tripods, right? Not cam lock, twist lock, hexagon leg, patented legs. But you can add up to 12 pounds in the legs to keep them weighted down, right? Like it's just, everything I do is just a little bit different, and it's very much shooter focused. I'm not building this stuff from a money standpoint. I'm building it from a sales standpoint. If that makes any sense. Like if I'm doing something and I think it can be better, I will just scrap the idea and move on to the next one, right? Like I never do something and be like, okay, that's good enough. I'm very much an innovator. So I constantly am innovating and constantly making things better, right? So everything I make, it just compounds, right? Like I went and made my DZ head, we can go from there. My first pan head was the LP pan head. It's a 4-ounce pan head, right? And then I wanted a heavier one, so then I made a fluid head, but that was much different than anyone else has ever used before. It uses 2 giant flat bearings in it. And then I was like, well, man, like that's a really bitchin' head. It's like the best I've ever used for glassing, but I want to be able to shoot off it, which you can, but I can't articulate my rifle. So I was like, well, what if I patented a ball and put a ball head into that? Because like a ball head is phenomenal for shooting, but terrible for glassing. So then I adapted a ball head into that. But when I did that, I made this special clamp on top called the DZ clamp, which is a quick release. So I'm like, oh, that quick release is awesome. Let's make a new thing called the Tricer Go, and then let's add that onto our new bipods, right? So like everything just kind of compounds with me. Like I'm never content, right? Like I'm never like, you'll never see me like once I finish a product, I'm already like, oh, I want to make the next one. Like, dude, like my new tripods that I have, I shouldn't be talking about them. I don't want to take away from my other sales, but like, dude, like they're so good. Yeah. They will blow. I'll send you pictures when we get off the air. I'll show you them. But like, they're going to blow your mind. Like I got an idea like when I was in Hawaii last month, and I got an idea at 3 a.m. I woke up, drew it, and I already have the prototypes in my hand like a month and a half later. And I'm like, this is going to blow people's minds. They are going to be so pumped on these new tripods and what they could do. There's nothing like them out there. They're just, nice. They're rad. And I don't know, that's kind of where it comes from, dude. I'm just constantly compounding and growing and doing things, and I'm just not a content person when it comes to innovation. Like I feel like every time I make something, it's like you guys make a TP and you're like, oh man, you're already making the next TP, right? Like you could have stopped with the freaking silver tip, the Cimarron, and what's the other one? The other main dude,
Red Cliff, Twilight.
The Red Cliff. Yeah, you could have stopped with that, but no, dude. The Twilight's a new one, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's like you could have stopped with the teepees. Now you're like taking teepees and making them better because I have that Twilight, and the Twilight's dope, dude. The Twilight's got like wall tent walls on it. Like you didn't need to do that. Why'd you do that? You already had the silver. You already had the freaking Red Cliff. Like why'd you need to do the silver tip, the Twilight? Because it's better.
Yeah.
It's not better. I shouldn't say it's better. If you have a Red Cliff, it's great. But like the Twilight addressed some issues that I had with the tent, right? Like also people use zippers for a long time. Why don't you just keep using zippers? You didn't have to go and make that bitch and pull cord patented thing on there, but you did. And now I don't have to deal with that stupid zipper like getting stuck on me and like you're pulling the whole tent down on yourself because the zipper's there. Like you use the pull cord. It's awesome. Like that's innovation, and that's like what drives this country forward is innovation, right?
Yeah.
And even having competitors that do things like that drives you forward, right? Like if you were stagnant and just stopped making teepees, like someone else is going to pass you.
Yeah. Oh,
like,
for sure.
You have to continue to innovate and do things, and that's kind of what drives me and drives Tricer and everything we do.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's a good point. Just what you were talking about with like everything compounding, right? Because I think that's kind of how some of the best things work out. And I'm a musician, so I play music, and I think about it like when you're writing. You find a riff, right? Like you're just messing around on the guitar. You find a little riff. It might be 3 or 4 notes. Well, over the course of 6 months, those 3-4 notes is going to turn into like something completely different. But it's still got that root of the initial thought that you came up with, and that's like you bring up like the Cimarron and the Twilight. Like the Twilight's basically we just kind of merged like a Red Cliff and a Cimarron and put them together, and it's like. Going from the tripods, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that the bipods, they're all kind of like they have very similar components. You can hook up that bipod to one of the tripods, right, to shoot off of it in a way. No, but you could shoot off our tripods, but no, it uses the same twist locks as on our other. It's inverted legs like the tripod. They use the same these new like. Custom rubber grips, like everything's the same there. So yeah, it's all very similar stuff, right? Like I always stay within my wheelhouse. Like you're never going to see me like this locking mechanism here is on some of my pan heads, right? So like maybe that's what I saw on the Instagram.
So it just works. Everything is kind of just compounds, dude.
Yeah. And then you get into something that's completely different than the initial thing, but it's got the same roots and of your initial idea, and I think that's how you build out the best systems.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy to wake up like when you're all done, you're like, why didn't I do that in the beginning? You know what I mean? They're still like, some of my first tripods, dude, they sucked. Like they weren't good, right? At the time I thought they were great, but like I'm still building tripods. They still have 3 legs. They're just much different today than they were in 2020 when I started this thing. You know what I mean? Like I have a box full of those things still in my shed. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't have it. They cost me so much money, dude. Like I don't know how I'd ever throw them away. So I don't know what I'm gonna do with these tripods. I'm never gonna sell them. I'm just gonna box them someday. I'm gonna donate them to all my kids or my grandkids or something like that. I don't know.
Oh, your kids are gonna be set. They're gonna be just freaking never wobbly in their whole life.
Never, here's some free tripods from the beginning. Yeah. But it's just, it's so easy to armchair quarterback the stuff. But like, you kind of start out, and like if you would have made the Twilight as your first tent, like it wouldn't be possible.
Yeah.
Like I guarantee you their first tent sucked. I guarantee you it was like made in the garage and like just not like it probably leaked, and it probably had some stuff that was like, man, why would we do that? You know what I mean? Yeah. But it was a shelter. Mm-hmm. Right, and it used a center pole, and it was lighter than everything else out there, and like that was the start. It was like, okay, now we have a foundation. Let's start growing from that foundation, right? And I think the guitar thing's a great example, right? Like when you start playing guitar, you suck. Mm-hmm. Go watch a video of you playing guitar when you're 12 years old, learning how to play guitar, compared to today.
Oh yeah,
right? It's a 90-day difference, but it's this progression over time. That's what innovation is, and that's what all the business is. That's when you see thriving businesses. It's not because like Elon Musk, like love him or hate him, dude. Like the guy is just an evil mastermind when it comes to business. Like, dude, the guy created PayPal. Yeah. Right, and then he made Tesla, and then he made the Boring Company. Now that guy's freaking flying to space. Now he's freaking in the government. Like, dude, like the guy's just like, it's wild to see this guy evolve. Like you would have told him 20 years ago, he never would have known that he was going to be going to space, right? Or maybe he did, but like that's an evolution. It didn't just happen overnight. It wasn't like, okay, SpaceX. It was like, no, we got to do PayPal first and then Tesla and all these other things to get there. It just evolves, right? And that's how the best businesses evolve. Mm-hmm. And that's how businesses die when they don't do that. When you're unwilling to change, unwilling to design, like you're going to die.
Yeah. Well, and if you take your initial idea and then, you know, if you want to innovate, but you start completely from scratch, like if we were to go into, you know, building cars or something like that, you know, there's no way. But because you kind of evolve that same way, you learn all these things of what to do, what not to do. So then when you want to transition, like, you know, to something that's similar, you still have all that knowledge from the past of like fabrics that didn't work, or like for you, like probably there's certain ways that you make carbon fiber or certain grips that don't work. So then when you do decide to go to something like when you came out with this bipod, you have like all this extra information from making tripods that you can apply to that, and it's easier than just completely starting from scratch.
Yeah, and you're gonna fail, dude. Like, I fail all the time, right? Like, obviously, failure in the beginning is a lot more expensive because it just costs you more because you don't have as much money, right? But like, I still fail all the time. I still make mistakes all the time. I still, whether it be marketing mistakes, whether it be freaking whatever, social media mistakes or business mistakes when it comes to making the wrong product, like I still fail, right? Like, it's just a part of it. It's just a matter of like taking that failure and either quitting or dusting yourself off, getting back up and going after it again, right? Like, I thrive on failure. Like, I love like when I fail, like I'm such a competitive person when it comes to this. Like I told you before, like I'm not great at snowboarding or surfing or skating or dirt bikes. I love those things, but what I am great at is tripods and business. And like when I fail, like some people will sort of walk away and be like, "Oh, I failed." And I'm like, "Oh, I'm going to prove you wrong." Like, watch me. Like, I could do this. And like, that's really what kind of has grown Tricer, is this unwillingness to quit, right? And that came from being a kid that worked 85 hours a week, right? And was forced to work so much, right? Like, up until last year, I was working in my dad's company and here 16 hours a day, right? And I still work crazy hours. I still travel all the time. I'm out, you know what I mean? I'll be gone, 5 or 6 weeks in the next 3 months. But a willingness not to quit, a willingness to take failure and turn it into successes is what's really grown this company. Yeah.
Well, and eventually you get so good at something that your failures become the next great thing, right?
Sometimes, yeah.
That's the goal. Well, so I want to talk about, because your tripods I'm not like a tripod expert, right? But I've used a good amount glassing tripods. I will say the LP head that you were talking about, the one with the knobs, the circles on it there, that's the LP, right?
The BP, you mean?
That's
one that
the BP.
Has the big knobs?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the BP.
Sorry. That is the smoothest glassing tripod that I've ever used in my life, to the point where now we even use that thing for cameras, right? So like when we go out and film videos, a lot of times that's instead of the camera gimbal, which is insane. So how do you kind of, I mean, obviously, can you still hear me?
I hear you, yeah.
Okay, sorry. I just had the thing in my headphones here. But how do you kind of apply those same principles to a bipod to make that thing just as stable and as sturdy as it can be? So
I kind of reverse engineer things from like, not in the point of copying thing, but reverse engineer from like, what is the use and then what can I make to make that use work, right? So let's talk about like that pan head, talk about that BP pan head, the big pan, right? I went out and I bought I called Go Hunt and I said, hey, I need to buy a Swarovski BTX 95 millimeter. And I bought that BTX. And then I built a pan head and a tripod for that. I reversed it, right? Like instead of like most people go out and they buy like photography stuff, put antlers on it, and they try and make photography stuff work for that head or for those optics or for those big cameras. I bought the heavy thing and then built something for that specifically, right? So that's how that head was built. That's why it's so. Yeah, it's not reverse engineering like the fact that I take something and like take it apart and redo it. I just kind of like take the use and then build something for that use rather than like trying to make something work for that use. If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Right? Like, what do I need to tow this boat the best over this mountain? I can go get a Ford Ranger, I can build a F-250. Well, I'm going to go and build the F-250 to get that boat over the mountain because it's the best thing for it, right? There's certain things you can make work for things, but I'd rather make something that works perfect for something. So with the bipod, I've just been hunting for a long time, right? And I know that I own a a long bipod, a short bipod, a medium bipod, a pick bipod, an Arca bipod, a swivel stub bipod. I have probably 15 bipods. I own Spartan bipods. All I know is I've never had the right bipod when I went to shoot in the field on a hunt. I've never had the right bipod in the field.
Yeah.
Like I've had the right bipod when I've like either I have a short bipod and I need a long one, or I have the long one on which weighs 3 pounds, right? The big Harris. But then I need a short one to shoot off my backpack. Like I've never had the right bipod. So I was like, I need a bipod that does everything. So for the last 5 years, I've been trying to figure this out, like building different things, doing different things, trying to make this thing. Which really what I wanted was something that goes from prone to like kneeling or prone to sitting, and that's what I built with this bipod here. Is like I just recognize in the field, right? Like people all the time, you go and shoot at the range off a bench, and yes, it's perfect as flat. You can use a little Harris bipod. It's perfect, right? Like I've never had that situation on a hunt. It's always like I just shot in Africa. It was a 390-yard shot. I shot a kudu and a wildebeest 50 yards apart. It was pretty sweet, dude. Last weekend, and I was laying on a rock. It was uphill, like I don't know, 20 degrees probably. It was super steep. I had a rock between my legs. I was cramping up. I laid there for 2 hours. I had to stand up all the time. So like my legs, like the muscles just like froze. Like I was so cramped. But like it was an awkward position. But with this bipod, I was able to have one leg a little bit longer on the sand, another leg up on the rock, have the angle I needed, and put 2 great shots on these animals. Actually 2 shots on both animals because they're freaking big animals. We're using 6.5 Creedmoor over there. I don't know why the Africans love 6.5 Creedmoor so much, but whatever. Another podcast. But kill them both. Whatever. Creedmoor works. Kill them. There you go. But I wanted a bipod that can handle that situation. I wanted a bipod that can handle the situation where my son shot his first deer and we were laying downhill like 40 degrees with ants biting us with a tree between our legs, and we're having to like stack backpacks up to get the shot across canyon, right? Like I wanted that bipod that does that. And so what I created was a bipod that would go from 8 inches to 30 inches and have fit any position you possibly need for hunting. It's a hunting bipod. Is it the best competition bipod in the world? No, I didn't make it for that. It weighs 15 ounces. It's not a 2-pound or 3-pound bipod. But dang, I'll tell you what, you want to go shoot a freaking deer at 500 yards or 800 yards all day long. And I can tell you that because I can't even tell how many animals we've killed off it now.
Yeah.
I mean, we're just stacking, like the Born and Raised guys just text us like, dude, we killed 2 bears. I'm never hung up this bipod again. This is incredible, right? Like,
nice.
Alex Miller texted me this morning. Bear down bipod, so awesome. Oh my gosh, right? Like I killed a coos deer, and I was on a slanted hill shooting sideways across a slanted hill, and I love them, right? I killed a coos deer 300 yards this year, right? Like Ben down Amani, shot a coos deer 45 degrees up a hill, 400 yards, dropped him in his tracks, right? I mean, I shot a deer kneeling off it this year. Like it just, I have not found a use case for it where it didn't work.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And that's what I built it for, was that. Like so many guys, they do is they go and like take an Atlas bipod and they copy it, right? Or they do like, we're going to make this. Like it's built from, those bipods are built from a shooting standpoint, not from a hunting standpoint. If that makes any sense. Like there's a differentiation between, is differentiation a word? I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, I think so.
There's differentiation between a shooting bipod and a hunting bipod. And that's my point. Is like,
well, that's for sure, because I think with hunting, you're probably just a lot more likely to be in odd. Like I'm not very familiar with the competition shooting at all, but I would assume that there's some situations where, like, if it's, they're going to pick the course to where it's going to test you a little bit, but it's also going to be, those guys, they want to be able to shoot along. So it's not like you're probably not going to be set up on the side of a hill where there's not any flat bench or anything like that. Whereas like hunting, I mean, you just have to be a little bit more ready for anything, those weird angles, if it's wet and you have to, like, you're on a side hill, you got to be dialed. So that makes sense to me that there's a big difference there.
Yeah. And in NRL, like we're the NRL hunter tripod company, the official sponsor. NRL gives you those weird positions. It does. It gives you rocks, gives you weird stuff, gives you cars, shooting off vans, whatever. Gives you weird positions. But at the same time, like a lot of the bipods are using weigh 2 pounds. Like I can't have a 2-pound bipod. I need a light bipod. So my bipod weighs 15 ounces and does the same stuff, right? It's lightweight and it goes in any position I possibly need, from prone to kneeling, and it does it very quickly with the turn of a wrist. Like, right, you're looking right here, like I have like everything's at the top, so if I had to make a quick adjustment, like I'm on a hill and I'm canted a little bit, I can go and adjust it like just a little bit right there, done. Everything's right here. All my buttons are right there, right? It's just made for hunting, man. And like, I don't know how to describe it other than it's just freaking bad to the bone, dude. And everyone, like, at this point, it's just, I mean, the proof's in the pudding because they're selling so well, right? And the reviews are so freaking good, and it just works, man. And it's not the most expensive bipod in the world. It's $350, right? So the average dude can afford it, right?
Yeah. No, that's awesome. Would you mind just kind of holding that up again? Because I want to give a shout out to the YouTube channel here. This is we're on YouTube now if anybody hasn't seen it already, but jump on the YouTube, check this tripod out. Drew, would you kind of just give like a walkthrough of what we're seeing here, like some of the key features of that?
Let me break it down. So what I did with this bipod is I wanted to make something that was universal for everyone, because like right now you have to go buy a pick bipod, an Arca bipod, and a swivel Arca Swiss bipod. This bipod comes with a pick head, it comes with an Arca head, and it comes with a swivel stud to pick adapter, so it can work on any rifle you have on the market. It'll work on any rifle. It comes with long legs, it comes with short legs. It comes with spike feet and rubber feet, all in one kit for $350. Because I'm so sick of these guys who, like, you know, you buy a bipod, but that's your short one. Then you got to go buy their long one. Then you got to go buy their Arca one. Then you got to go buy. You have to buy 4 different bipods for your rifles because you have all these different rifles. So this bipod here will go on any rifle on the market, and it's $350. Comes with everything you need in the kit, whether you want to run long legs or short legs. I recommend running the long legs. Again, South Africa, I like to run the short legs. I don't know. I ran short legs for a week, and I was like, oh my gosh, these short legs. I want to run the long ones.
Yeah.
But some guys want short legs, and that way you have it all there. You can run short legs sometimes, run long legs sometimes. You change them out with just 2 set screws, back the legs out, put them in, done. All in one kit. There's certain things people like, you know what I mean, like on other bipods in the market, you see these giant buttons right here, dude. Mm-hmm. So there's other companies that are actually making like adapters for other bipods, like aftermarket parts, and I was like, oh, I'll put that on my bipod from the beginning. So you have these giant push buttons, easy to grab with a gloves on, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm turning my phone off here.
Oh, you're good.
I'm listening to you. Keep going.
That is key, though, having those big buttons, because I mean, on so many of those, like you think about a lot of the bow sights, and you know, most of the time when you're bow hunting, you're probably not going to have gloves in, but rifle season, you almost always have gloves. And some of those little buttons that you'll see on stuff are just so, and those look, I mean, I haven't tried it out yet, but
they're like dime size, almost dime size. They're,
perfect for the pad of your finger. But and the thing that a lot of bipods have that one seems very smooth, and I've only seen videos, but you know, some of the other ones, they got the springs in there, they're just very unsmooth, and you know, they're loud if you have to pop them out in a split second, so it makes a noise.
Yep.
That one seems like it doesn't have that.
Yeah, and that's what like a lot of guys were like, well, why do you make aluminum legs that have like the click, they push the button, and I'm like, dude, because they're loud and they're heavy, right?
Yeah.
Like I want to be like, hey, there's an animal. I'm slowly opening this thing up right now, right? And it's open now, right? Then I'm going to adjust it like a little bit. Like, why do I need a push button, like spring out leg, like in that situation? You know what I mean? Like, it's just a smooth operator, man. It does the trick, and it doesn't do like I intentionally didn't make it with like spring-loaded legs and stuff like that for that reason. And plus, that's the kind of stuff that breaks, dude. That's kind of stuff that gets ice in it and snow in it and dirt in it, and then you press the button and also it shoots all the way out, and then you're like having to like click the thing back in, you know, like on your Harris because it's too long now, and you're having to fight it back, or you're pinching your fingers on your Harris, right? Like we've all done that.
Oh,
we've all done that,
horrible.
right? You press the button, snap, snap, snap. You know, it's going back in, and that wasn't what I wanted to do. I was trying to accomplish a smooth, lightweight solution to backcountry hunting, and that's what this thing was made for.
Yeah. Well, I think that's something that you do well with all your products, is kind of like you get one thing, and that's kind of like what we try to do with our backpacks. You get one thing, but there's all these different easy ways to swap it out. Like, for example, with your tripod, right? You got the normal heads, you got multiple different heads for, going from a spotter to binos. Then you also got the gun clamp, which, by the way, I use that all the time, basically all winter for predator hunting. Love that thing.
Dude, wait till you see the predator tripods, dude. The new predator tripods are dope.
Yeah.
They're so good. They're so good.
Stoked to check those out. But then you can, like, you make an awesome phone attachment that you can throw on the top there. Mm-hmm. Obviously, we've talked about some of the other attachments that you can throw on there, but I just love that, like, you have one base and then you can swap it out, because if you're out there enough, it's not a one size fits all. Like, mm-hmm. If you're hunting, or doing outdoor stuff or doing photography, 4 seasons out of the year, there's no such thing as one size fits all. Mm-hmm. And I think you do a great job. Yeah,
everything we make is universal and Arca Swiss, right? So we don't do any proprietary plates. Like, everything we make is, you could go and buy, like, let's say you have a Suray head and you love that head, you'll throw it on my tripod, right? Or you want to run my bino adapter on a Suray, you can. Or, I don't believe in, like, upselling people. Like, that's why with this bipod I put everything in one kit, because, like, I don't want to make you have to come and go buy a bunch of adapters from me afterwards and get that extra money. Or, like, that's silly. Like, I'm building this up for the working man, and, like, they don't want to deal with that. Like, we're sick of it. Like, we're sick of, like, hey, like, why not have a universal, everyone makes Arca, right? Mm. Like, everyone's already doing Arca already. Why do I gotta make something special for it? Like, if I make it all Arca, then it'll work with your Seekins rifle, right? Or it'll work with your MDT chassis or whatever, your Christensen arms. Like, you know what I mean? It already all is Arca or pick. So why not make myself to adapt to that rather than try and make everybody adapt to me, right? And we've been really well at that. We've actually forced my competition to go Arca. Right? We've had a competition that was proprietary, and they actually put articles out saying, like, hey, due to industry pressure and competitive pressure, we had to do this.
Wow.
It's like, it's silly, and I know that's me, right? Like, and those are great dudes who, make great stuff, but, like, they were doing proprietary stuff, and it's like, everyone's sick of it. It's like, dude, like, I can't use your stuff on anybody else's stuff. Mm-hmm. I have to put adapter. I hate adapters.
Yeah.
I hate having to adapt something to make it work on something. Like, I just want to, like, have it work.
Yeah.
That's why, like, all my stuff, like that gun clamp we talked about, the Arca Swiss is machined into it. There's no adapter. Mm-hmm. There's no, like, having to add an Arca Swiss rail to that. It's already on there, right?
Yeah.
Like the phone adapter, it's already machined on there. All of my pan heads have Arca adapted on the bottom of them already. Like, so if you want to switch from other stuff, you can. Like, it's just machined into it, and it's just such a simple way to make it congruent with the rest of the industry that, like, I think everyone should do it. I think everyone is starting to do it. I think everyone's starting to switch over to this Arca thing versus, like, I don't know. I don't know what the comparison would be intense. It'd be like if you ran 550 paracord and everything, but then one dude decided to run freaking, like, quarter-inch cord, and it paid the butt for everyone else to use it. I don't know what the comparison is for tense, but you get what I'm saying, right?
Yeah. Well,
like,
I mean, that's like, for us, why we use gatekeepers on all of our pack stuff is because you can literally take any backpack, and as long as there's a little loop there, you hook it up. Gatekeeper, you can throw it on our frame.
I love gatekeepers, dude. I have a bunch of gatekeeper straps, like long, like 16 inches. Mm-hmm. I use them for all my packs. I put them onto packs, like, do I get straps to fall into them? Like, gatekeepers are dope. With that, and you're seeing that as well with what's that called on the packs now that everyone's using, the molly webbing.
Yeah.
A lot of guys are going to molly webbing as well to make things universal, because, like, that way, let's say I want to run somebody else's somebody else's, like, hip thing on your pack, I probably can now, which is kind of cool. And it's not a big deal that if I want to seek outside thing, but then I also really love this bullet carrier from, I don't know, whatever, say Badlands makes one, I don't know. I can adapt it onto there real quick. Like, that's pretty sweet that you gave me the option to do that.
Exactly. Right? Yeah. No, it's just that modularity. I mean, that's especially nowadays with kind of the craze of, like, gearheads, right? It's like, with all this information out there, everybody is so much more knowledgeable about gear, and, like, you're finding out about, like, molly, right, where you're like, oh, well, I can mix this backpack with this and this and this. I can get this tripod head. I can use this tripod. I could use this rifle. People want what they want. They want their exact system, and they love having that thing that is just theirs and that works for them.
And that thing is so important. And, like, I am, like, you'll see me, I'm Switzerland when it comes to gear. I think you guys know that about me as well, right? Like, I actually really do love your tents, though. I run a lot. But I unapologetically talk about how much I love your tents and Hilleberg's tents. So these are kind of the two that I pretty much run exclusively. But you can't get caught up in this, like, I'm only going to wear Kuiu. Dude, like, you can't do that. Like, Kuiu has some great stuff, but so does First Light. And so does freaking, Stone Glacier. So does Go Hunt's new stuff. Like, dude, like, my kit is so random, dude.
Yeah.
And, like, not only that, like, you can't get caught up in, like, I'm only going to use hunting stuff.
Yeah.
Like, so much of my kit comes from Amazon, like, stuff, like, it's actually gotten so simple, right? Like, when you first start out, like, it's, like, I took a guy last year to Colorado, and Joey, if you're listening to this, I'm sorry for making fun of you again on the podcast. But, I got to his house, and, like, dude, he must have had, like, his whole table was, like, there was just shit everywhere. And I'm like, dude, what is this? Like, this is my stuff. And I'm like, no way. What are we taking out? Like, you don't need to have 3 different saws and, all this different, he has every gimmick you can imagine, right? But when you do it long enough, you kind of start realizing, like, oh, I can get away with just this, and this, right? But I would just encourage, if you're listening to this, you're just getting into backpacking or hunting, is like, don't get caught up in, like, I have to wear all the same thing.
Yeah.
Or I have to use all the same gear, I have to use the same rifle, whatever. Like, make stuff work for you and find systems that are modular enough to do that, right?
Yeah. Well, I would second that. And it even goes, I think the key thing is, like, hunting gear is not always the best for that specific hunt that you're going on.
100%, dude.
I mean, there's some awesome, Smart Wool, right? I think they make...
I love Smart Wool, dude, and it's so much cheaper.
It is, and they make unbelievable base layers. I love them. But then, like, I have, there's a company called Ursai Gear. They make, and they're a hunting company, but they make a specific jacket, amazing for bow hunting. They may, if you mix all that.
Mary Wool's another one. So Smart Mary Wool, and then also, like, Darn Tough socks, right?
Yeah.
Like, I am yet to find a hunting brand socks that don't suck.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm yet to find them. But I'll tell you what, Darn Tough socks work every freaking time.
Yeah. Well, but that's the point, is, like, there's just, you don't be beholden to any company just because it's a brand name, right? I mean, if it's good stuff, it's good stuff. I think to say that, like, something just because it's hunting specific isn't, like what I was saying with the Tricer tripod. I love that thing for videography. It's amazing. It's like the best tripod I've tried for video stuff.
Yeah.
And sometimes those end goals kind of just happen to blend between certain hobbies. You can have an awesome recreational piece that works great for hunting. It's just about being outside. And if it works for being outside, if it's good for being outside and in the elements, it's going to work across the board.
What are you doing for underwear?
I usually just I have, like, some synthetic Reebok ones that are just basic,
Dude, Exo Officio, bro. I love those things.
Exo Officio?
Dude, I've run the same pair of Exo Officio underwear. Like, I think I bought some new ones this year,
Same
dude,
pair.
for like 10 years, bro. Like, well, they're made for that. They're made for backpacking, like, for bringing one pair with you, 2 pairs with you to, like, Europe. That's what they're made for.
Okay.
Exo Officio, dude. Like, $25 for a pair, but, dude, they last forever. Right?
Nice.
But, like, my whole point of that is, like, I think it kind of went away from it now, but, like, dude, like, camouflage underwear.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, bro. Like, why do I need some Verde Kuiu underwear, right? Like, like, you get so caught up in it. And that's what I'm going to go with that, is, like, there's better stuff out there sometimes. And yes, Kuiu, I should be making fun of Kuiu. Like, Kuiu makes legit gear. I've been wearing the same Kuiu zip-off base layers for, I don't even know, 6 seasons since they came out, like 2018 or whatever. Whenever they came out, like, phenomenal, changed the game.
Yeah.
Right? I have some stuff from Kuiu that I absolutely love, and problem with Kuiu is it's so good that you don't need to buy new stuff.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, they're I will say they're, like, DWR, just in terms of being, like, waterproof, almost like substituting for a rain jacket. I think they're non-rain, they brand it as, like, just the storm shell, but I think it's almost as good as a rain jacket. Like, I've used that in downpours, and you're good to go.
I've gotten away with a few different things like that. I really do.
And you'll see it up in Alaska, like, because even, like, some of the recreationalists up there, they'll be running Kuiu stuff. They'll be like full camo, and you'll be up, like, we were up in the Brooks Range a couple years ago, and you see these guys in Kuiu, and you're up there to hunt, so you'll be like, oh, what are you hunting? And they're like, no, I'm actually just floating up here. And it's like, oh, you got the Kuiu. They're just like, yeah, it's kind of the best of the best. So It's not
it really
just,
is. Those guys are awesome. And honestly, like, I need to get to know Brandon better. Brandon Burns. I've talked to him a few times now. And to shout out to Brandon if he's listening to this, like, Brandon has like given me the time of day a couple times now, where he's just talked to me and giving me like business advice and stuff.
Nice.
Like, they really are like pioneers in the industry, right? Like, obviously Jason was the the spear of that thing, and he started Sitka, then started that. Like, I wish I would have got to know Jason before he passed away. Just like innovators that really have pushed the industry forward, right?
Yeah.
I mean, on that same thing, talking about like cheaper gear, like, dude, like, you're gonna be hard pressed to beat the Prana Zion pants.
Oh yeah.
Dude, the Prana Zions, $80. Dude, like, I've been rocking the same like 3 pairs of those forever. Like, I would probably still be wearing them if I didn't get so much free freaking pants from like First Light and Stone Glacier and stuff. But like, dude, the Prana Zion pants, $80. Dude, if you're listening to this podcast right now, you don't need to, you can go get some Mary Wools, some Smart Wool, some Prana Zions, and it's like a freaking good jacket from like REI, and you can go hunting right now.
Oh yeah, you're dialed. Yeah, for sure. Well, the other one is just even the Walmart like Wrangler brand ATF pants. I think I've had a pair of those for like 5 years, and I use them as kind of like my early season, crushing around in the oak brush, just getting torn up, and they not a hole. Had them for 6 years. They do all right in water, but I mean, $30, it's hard to beat that. But there's so many cheap pieces of gear. I mean, I just got a headlamp for Christmas this year that my mother-in-law bought me, and she's not an outdoor person. It was probably just a headlamp that she found on the side aisle at REI or something like that. Can't imagine it was very expensive. It wasn't a black diamond or anything like that. And that thing is the brightest freaking headlamp. I've yet to see like longevity on it, but that thing puts out it's got to be like 1,000 lumens, and it's light. It's easy to wear. It doesn't come off. It's just built well. And I know for a fact it's not like an expensive one, right? But it just works.
Yeah, I headlamps, like, I don't do any of the $100 ones. I do like just like a $30 black diamond. Like, I like the ones AAA batteries, 2 AAAs in there.
Yeah.
Done. I have some rechargeable ones as well too, but I don't know. I've never been a big like $100 headlamp guy. Like, I'm not getting like the big crazy Petzls or anything. I just get a headlamp with a band on it and it make it work, right? Honestly, if you go look at some of the ones at Walmart, like you can go get like a 3-pack of like the Energizer ones at Home Depot, or not Home Depot, I guess Home Depot, but or Costco, and they're the same damn headlamp as the Black Diamond.
Oh yeah,
it's the same headlamp. Like, you get a 3-pack of them, because like I have 5 kids, dude. Like, I'm not buying all my kids freaking $100 headlamps. Like, screw that. Like, I'm just passing. Thank God they're getting old enough to like use my stuff now. I'm passing it down to them, right? Like, I guess my 11-year-old, we're kind of a different spot right now financially, but like he's getting some cooler gear. He's running some Sitka now and stuff. Like, my first boys, dude, they were out there, whatever we can get. Like, we'd go to the thrift shop, or we go to like the Army surplus store, and I'd buy like the military boots for them and stuff, because dude, the kids grow so fast.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, so just trying to outfit them, just find ways to make it work and go hunt. Like, we're on this big. I've been on this big like 30-06 kick thing for a couple of years now, where I'm just shooting 30-06 for everything. So like when I go bear hunting next couple of weeks from now, I'll be using my Woodstock 30-06. But we're also this year doing this lever action deal. So like me and Ben Dedamani, Shed Crazy, we're going to Sitka to do blacktails, and it's all open sight lever action.
That's awesome.
And then we're gonna do like a whitetail camp on the East Coast. So we always set that up today in December. We're gonna go back and hang out with the Timber Ninja guys and do some whitetail hunting. And I was joking with Ben, like, dude, if like First Light or someone could come out with like synthetic clothes that were like, but like flannel, I'd be down. Mm-hmm. Like, why not, dude? Like, anyone listening to this right now, like, go make me a synthetic flannel jacket. Like, so just like, because like retro, dude, they hunted red flannel forever and got away with it. Like, they hunted in blue jeans, red flannel, and Doc Martens forever. And now we're at this point where it's like, oh, I got to buy, $1,500. I mean, think of how much gear you have on when you put your clothes on.
Oh yeah.
I mean, every single dude's wearing at least $1,000. And more than that, your boots, $1,500 just in the clothes you're wearing, bro.
Yeah. I know it's funny when you walk down the street. Like, I don't know. Sometimes you'll wear your camo Kuiu jacket. Like, if it's just quick, I can put it on and you'll walk downtown. And I think people would be shocked if they were like, "Oh, that guy's wearing a $400 jacket right there." Are you kidding me? It's like, dude, got busted up Vans and a $400 jacket on.
Dude, it is wild how much money we spend on stuff. And I mean, I'm a product of that, right? My company, we build gear for people to make things better, right? Like, you can get away with no tripod, but damn, with that tripod, you can do a lot better.
Yeah.
And you can get away with wearing jeans to Alaska, but I'll tell you what, when I'm wearing my freaking First Light this year up in Alaska, I'm going to be a lot more comfortable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh,
And
yeah.
it's like, one thing I can say that you can't skip on is a good shelter. So that's the plug for you guys, is like having a good shelter. Like I've done it with bad shelters and had the nightmare nights, right? But like a good shelter will make or break a hunt. And that's where I do like that. I ran that Twilight. I don't know, I probably put like 30 or 40 days in that Twilight this year. And I love that tent. I love that structure.
That's great to hear. I mean, I love that tent too. It's
Shelter.
It's different from anything else out there. No, that's awesome. I'm glad you've gotten a good amount of use out of it. Drew, I don't want to keep you for too long here. I do have one more question for you. And I try to always get this out of everybody. So you go to a lot of trade shows, definitely a certified gearhead yourself. What is a piece of gear that you have seen that's like new, innovative, non-Tricer, that maybe nobody's heard of that you want to put them onto?
Gosh, man. Dude, you know what I really like right now is this Salmon River Solutions balance rail. It's a 4-inch Arca rail from Salmon River Solutions that you could put on your rifle, and it weighs nothing. It goes right in front of your magwell. I absolutely love that thing. So, I mean, I don't know why that came to mind right now, but dude, like, I really love that Salmon River. I recommend it all the time to my customers.
Okay.
Like, go buy this rail from Salmon River Solutions. So, dude, that's a really slick piece of gear. I really like that thing.
That's cool. Yeah. All right. Right on. That's good. That's a good one. Not what I was expecting, but that's a good one.
Dude, I could probably come out with 20 of them, dude. I am a gear nut, dude. Like, there's so many, dude. Like that macerator thing coming out from Graxaw.
The
that
what?
Thing's, the macerator for doing like skulls. Like that thing's
I thought you
sick.
said
Like,
something else there.
the macerator. No, it's called a maceration. It's like it's a way you soak skulls. You basically crockpot skulls. Like that thing is freaking.
Okay.
That thing is super slick. It's cool. Dude, here's another one that I absolutely love. I'll give a plug to those guys. Hard side hydration.
Yeah.
Dude,
Yep.
I went to the hard side hydration this year for all my hunts. In love with it because like I've always been a bladder guy coming from the west because we just don't have water. But bladders pop, bladders suck. So hard side hydration allows you to put a hose onto a Nalgene, on any Nalgene.
Yep.
Right? And I ran those all year long, and I absolutely love that. So shout out to Dean over at Hardside Hydration. Go get one of those things. That thing is rad.
Yeah. And that's actually a perfect one because we definitely have some people that listen to the podcast that aren't hunters, that are kind of more recreationalists. And obviously you probably could have taken from this interview that you could use a Tricer for photo stuff, video stuff. But that thing, that hard side hydration hookup there is so freaking clutch. I've never owned one, but I've used one before, and it's such a difference because I always keep like my analogy. I'm a big anti-bladder guy, especially if you're rifle hunting. It's like you're just asking for disaster. If it freezes, you're screwed, right? You get holes in the bladder and it expands and all that stuff. But that right there, like I hate carrying. I like it, but I hate carrying my. I like carrying my Nalgene on my hip belt because I drink a lot of water. It's easy access right there. But I hate it because it's in the way, especially if you're carrying a gun or a bow around, you're always knocking it. That hard side hydration thing sticks in, your back pocket there, acts like a water bladder, but it's kind of like the perfect hybrid of both water systems there.
Yeah, that's probably a better
one.
recommendation for gear than the Salmon River Solutions rail. So Salmon River's great. That hard side hydration thing, I think it's like $30. The owner's coming on my podcast next week because I'm just like so impressed with him. I see him at all the trade shows. He's at all the tax and all that stuff. And just a guy who's just grinding, dude. Him and his partner are just grinding. So, dude, go get a hard side hydration. Go pick one up on his website, or I think they sell them like all kinds of. I think Shields has them now.
Yep, I've seen them.
Go Hunt's got them. But go get a hard side hydration and add it on to your thing. And I actually run the bigger, like the 48-ounce Nalgene with it. So I run one of those, and I'll keep like one 132 in my backpack, and it pretty much gets me through a day, or maybe 2 32s, depending on where I'm hunting.
Nice.
But, dude, the hard side is the way to go. That was something that's in my pack no matter what all the time now.
Yeah, that's awesome. Sweet, man. Well, what about people where they can find you? What do you want to plug here at the end?
We are Tricer USA on Instagram. We are Tricer Tripods on YouTube. Go check out our hunt films. We got a bunch over there now. Our new antelope film has been blowing up. It's been really good. We've got we're gonna have a ton of new content coming out with Africa. We'll have like probably 4 to 6 hunt films coming out from Africa as well. Just short ones. We try and keep them short, like 5 to 8 minute hunt films, some of these other ones. And then obviously Tricer.com, go there, buy some stuff from us, hit me up. We'll take care of you. Yeah, man. And then, dude, I just want to tell you guys, thank you, Seek Outside. I really appreciate the relationship we've had over the last couple of years. I've been running your stuff way before I knew you guys, way before I owned Tricer. And you guys are the dudes when it comes to floor the shelters, hands down. Like, I love Seek Outside. I run it. It's the tent I trust my life with all the time.
Heck yeah, man. That's the best endorsement we can get right there. If you trust your life with it, you know, that's all we can ask for. So, yeah. Cool, man. I appreciate it. Tricer USA on Instagram. Go check them out. Bipods, tripods, all the good stuff. Thanks, Drew.
Thanks, bro.